We're going to take a look at the network-wide topology page in Dashboard. So how many of you have had a customer come to you with an up-to-date network diagram? I can tell you I very rarely have that happen. Usually if the customer provides me with a network diagram, it's either hand-drawn or it is a couple months up to several years out of date. So that's why this feature is so powerful, because it provides you with an up-to-date, fully dynamic network topology diagram, including all of the devices plugged into your network. And the way this works is it's pulling the CDP and LLDP data off of every Meraki switch port in the network. So this network is primarily Meraki devices, so I have these nice pretty green icons here, and I can see right off the bat I've got several Meraki access points plugged into a Meraki switch. And if you hover over these icons, you get additional details like the name of the device, the model number, the number of devices connected to it. I even get a link that would take me to that device's status page if I wanted to. Same thing for my switches, same thing for my MX and any Meraki device plugged into the network. You will also even see non-Meraki devices in this page displaying as small diamonds, where when you hover over it, you'll get to see either the CDP or LLDP data. Now, my favorite feature of this page is that you can hover over a cable interconnecting devices, and it's going to show you what port that device is plugged in on. So if I hover over this cable connecting this switch and access point, I can see, for example, that this AP is plugged into port 15 on that upstream switch. I could even come up here to the search bar and filter this. If I know what device I'm looking for, I can type that in, or I can apply some other filters like MR33. And you can see it highlighted all of the MR33s in the network for me. You can also download this page as an SVG file that you could import into Visio and edit there if you want to. You could even download this as a PDF or print it out if you really wanted to there. So this is an incredibly powerful selling point, and you should use this in your deals as a great way to include Meraki switches.
Nash Rocky Mount is a public school district in North Carolina with 16,000 students across 31 different schools. And they started exploring a network infrastructure upgrade after they rolled out a one-to-one device program for their students. So every student from grades 3 through 12 was given either an iPad or some sort of laptop, and they needed network access. And when they rolled that out, they noticed a serious strain on both their wired and their wireless network. And it became very obvious that their infrastructure couldn't support the quantity and just the density of these devices. Their current deployment was also quite difficult for them to manage. It was especially difficult to monitor as well, which made troubleshooting extremely time-consuming. And they needed something reliable that could support the increased technology demands while also being easier to manage and easier to maintain. So what did they do? They went with Meraki MR access points and MS switches for every school in the district. They were able to, first of all, rapidly deploy the solution across their district in a fraction of the time that it took them to install that initial solution. For example, they were able to deploy 100 access points in a single school in just one night. And then the centralized management and visibility meant that they could spend less time on site and traveling back and forth, and they could manage the entire school district from a single location. This was a deployment designed to support high-density classroom environments where every student had a mobile device. They had one access point per classroom in addition to APs in their common areas, cafeterias, and gyms. And they were able to do this with the help of E-rate funding. And that's something I want to mention because many of our school district customers also take advantage of that. We have a quote from the CTO here. Without a strong network backbone, you can't build anything on top of that. By having a strong network, we're able to provide seamless digital learning experiences. So now they have a network that's able to support these initiatives like streaming and these more interactive applications. This is the first Meraki switch with 48 multi-gig ports on a single model. There's 9 different models actually, with support for different combinations of PoE+, UPoE, either 2.5M gig or 5M gig. We've got 24 or 48 port options depending on what the customer needs. But we added this flexibility to the portfolio to support this emerging need for high-density Wi-Fi with Wi-Fi 6 and a much more demanding access layer. It's also our first switch with hot swappable modular uplink cards. So you can use a module with 8 SFP ports, you can have 4 SFP plus ports, or 2 40 gig QSFP plus ports if you want to. We've also made some serious improvements on the stacking capabilities as well. First of all, Stack Power allows your stack to pool power resources to power more PoE devices, and it also adds additional power redundancy. If you were to lose one of those stack members, you're still going to be able to pull power from other members of that stack. It also has 3 times the stack throughput than the predecessor, the MS350, and less than 1 second latency in the event of a switch failure. So again, more throughput to support the demands from Wi-Fi 6 and IoT, and it's also going to include more resiliency for those reasons. Now, this new hardware is also the foundation that enables a very exciting new security solution, adaptive policy. So adaptive policy allows you to micro-segment your network using Cisco's secure group tags, or SGTs. And it makes it easy to define security based on the identity of the clients in the network. Traditionally, security policy, like I said earlier, has been IP-based, but the problem with that is that it doesn't scale well. As new devices and users are added, we have to try to keep track of individual IPs, and that gets messy very quickly. And of course, when you add new IPs, it gets more complicated, and generally IP addresses are not static across the network. So what happens when a user's device IP changes? That IP-based security policy is no longer working as intended. So adaptive policy takes a different approach to security policy, and it allows your admins to define security groups using natural language. You can simply create security policies that either deny or permit communication between these groups. We're talking about more of an intent-based model of security here. SGTs are nothing new in the Cisco world. Adaptive policy with the MS390 can also be deployed in hybrid environments. Meraki is very much a part of Cisco's SDA architecture. Other Cisco devices in such a deployment are controlled and provisioned and monitored primarily through DNA Center. And the MS390s are still managed in the dashboard, but as long as you define the same security groups on each side, the integration is going to work between the two. In this hybrid architecture, the MS390 and the MRs are deployed as what are known as extended nodes here. And all of our Wi-Fi 6 models are going to support SGTs. As long as you configure the same security groups to be trusted on each side, this integration will work. This is going to provide end-to-end segmentation. It's going to help you automate user access policy, and it's providing a single network fabric across wireless, switching, and routing, and this new software is going to allow you to do that. No other vendor is able to deliver all of these things in this single package. So what you're getting really is common user policy for LAN, WAN, and the data center. Cisco Umbrella integration is also available for MR. Now, MR with Umbrella integration has been around for a while now, but in the past this has required 2 licenses, your MR dashboard license and the Umbrella license. But we've since released a single license SKU that gets your customers MR and Umbrella through the Meraki dashboard exclusively. So this single SKU is going to get you 7 predefined security policies that you can assign to an SSID, and then the Umbrella events are actually going to show up in the dashboard under the Security Center. With this, we have a SKU for net new customers that are looking to purchase this for the first time, and we have a license SKU for existing customers that are looking to upgrade to this. So these are the 2 SKUs you want to look for in CCW, but both of these do require per device licensing. The advantage here is that the customer only interfaces with a single dashboard. And this is great for customers that are just looking for basic DNS security or customers that are focused on providing easy, secure guest Wi-Fi. But the drawback is that they don't have the option to apply custom policies. And they only have a broad overview of these events in the security center. But if a customer has a need for more advanced security policies and the other features that Umbrella has to offer, if they want more granular visibility, then you can certainly still sell them the standard Umbrella package, and you can integrate that with MR via the API. So you can have two licenses, but that is the drawback. There's two different licenses and two different dashboards that they're managing. So it's less simple, but they are getting the full power that Umbrella has to offer. Now, customers that might be in the market for this, the two dashboard solution, are customers that want to deploy more niche policies for compliance purposes maybe, or just customers that are interested in the flexibility that's involved with building custom policies. If you're not familiar with Umbrella, here's how it works. Cisco Umbrella provides security at the application layer via DNS. So when you turn this on, all DNS requests are forced to go to Umbrella. It doesn't matter if they're destined for your own custom DNS or Google DNS. Access points will snoop those DNS requests and then redirect them to Umbrella. We're able to then look for things like malware, C2 callbacks, phishing attempts as well, and block things like that. This is not a replacement for the MX Advanced Security License. Keep that in mind. Modern security threats require more of a layered approach to security. So MX plus Advanced Malware Protection and Snort IPS plus Cisco Umbrella is a security solution that you can sell as a package to provide more layers of security. That unified SKU is going to get you all of that visibility in the security center. This is what that's going to look like. It's going to pull that information into another tab, and you're going to be able to visualize all of that right here.